been a teacher for many years. That's a very special part of my life. So thank you very much for inviting me, and I'm really looking forward to watching all of you. And thank you also for your support to the Croc Bank. It is much, much appreciated. I presume some of you have visited us, some of you haven't, but I hope those of you who have will come again, and those of you who haven't will come for the first time. Look forward to seeing you here. But apart from the actual support in terms of the money, it's very important for us to know that there are groups like you out there who are encouraging and supporting us. It makes a big difference at this very, very difficult time for all of us, and also for zoo animals all over the world. So thank you again, and I'm looking forward to this.
Thank you so much. So I'd like to hand over now to Payal Gupta, who will tell us what we think we've raised so far.
Thank you, Shan. In the words of Mother Teresa, it's not how much we give, but how much love we put into giving. On behalf of the entire team of A to Z Creativity, I would like to thank each and every one of you present over here for coming forward and supporting the Crocodile Bank. We were successfully able to raise a total amount of 89,000, and our highest donors are Mr. Anil Thadani, Mrs. Tirumagal, Mrs. Manjula Chinnadurai, and Mr. Jitendra Verma. I would like to thank all of you for taking time out to watch our students perform. We hope you enjoy the show. Thank you once again. And now I would like to hand over to Arya.
Good evening, everyone. Today, some of us teenagers from A to Z Creativity will be performing extracts of English plays from Shakespeare to more modern pieces. There are 13 of us performing tonight, and we hope you enjoy what we have put together. Whatever we raised went directly to the Crocodile Bank, as you know, and we are very glad to have been able to help. Thank you so much for your generous contributions. We will start the evening with a scene from The Merchant of Venice by Zai Libby and Dia Subramaniam.
Thank you, Arya. Today, Zai and I will be performing Act 1, Scene 2 of William Shakespeare's Merchant of Venice. In this scene, Portia complains to Nerissa about her dead father's will. As Nerissa lists out all of the different suitors that had come to see Portia, Portia talks about all their funny faults. This scene ends with the announcement of Bassanio's arrival.
By my troth, Nerissa, my little body is weary of this great world.
You would be, sweet madam, if your miseries were in the same abundance as your good fortunes are. And yet, what I see, they are sick that surfeit with too much, that they that starve with nothing. It is no mean happiness, therefore, to be seated in the mean. Superfluity comes sooner by white hairs, but competency lives longer.
Good sentences and well pronounced.
They would be better if all followed.
If to do were as easy as to know what were good to do, chapels had been churches, and poor men's cottages princes' palaces. It is a good divine that follows his own instructions. I can easier teach 20 what were good to do, than be one of the 20 to follow mine own teaching. The brain may devise laws for the blood, but a hot temper leaps over a cold decree. Such a hair's madness the youth skip over the meshes of good counsel the cripple. But this reasoning is not in the fashion to choose me a husband. Oh me, the word choose! I may neither choose whom I would nor refuse whom I dislike. So is the will of a living daughter, curbed by the will of a dead father. Is it not hard, Nerissa, that I cannot choose one nor refuse none?
Your father was ever virtuous, and holy men at their death have good inspirations. Therefore the lottery that he had devised in these affection towards any of these fancy suitors that already come.
I pray thee overname them, and as thou namest them, I will describe them, and according to my description, level at my affection.
First, there is the Neapolitan prince.
Aye, there's a colt indeed, for he doth nothing but talk of his horse, and he makes a great appropriation of his own good parts, that he can shoe him himself. I am much afeard, my lady, his mother played false with the smith.
Then there is the county palatine.
He doth nothing but frown, as who should say, if you will not have me, choose. He hears merry tales and smiles not. I fear he will prove the weeping philosopher when he grows old, being so full of unmannerly sadness in his youth. I had rather be married to a death's head with a bone in his mouth than to either of these. God defend me from these two.
How say you by the French lord, Monsieur Bon?
God made him, and therefore let him pass for a man. In truth, I know 'tis a sin to be a mocker. But he, why, he hath a horse better than the Neapolitans, a better bad habit of frowning than the Count Palatine. He is every man in no man. If a throstle sing, he falls straight a capering. He will fence with his own shadow. If I should marry him, I should marry 20 husbands. If he would despise me, I would forgive him. For if he love me to madness, I shall never requite him.
What say you then to Falconbridge, the young baron of England?
You know I say nothing to him, for he understands not me, nor I him. He hath neither Latin, French, nor Italian, and you will come to the court and swear that I have a poor pennyworth in the English. He is a proper man's picture, but alas, who can converse with a dumb show? How oddly he is suited. I think he bought his doublet in Italy, his round hose in France, his bonnet in Germany, and his behavior everywhere.
What think you of the Scottish lord, his neighbour?
He hath a neighbourly charity in him, for he borrowed a box of the ear of the Englishman, and swore he would repay him again when he was able. I think the Frenchman became a surety and sealed under for another.
How like you, the young German, the Duke of Saxony's nephew?
Very vilely in the morning when he is sober, and most vilely in the afternoon when he is drunk. When he is best, he's a little worse than a man, and when he is worst, he's a little better than a beast, and the worst fall that ever fell. I hope I shall make shift to go without him.
If he should offer to choose, and choose the right casket, you should refuse to perform your father's will, if you should refuse to accept him.
Therefore, for fear of the worst, I pray thee, set a deep glass of Rhenish wine on the contrary casket, for if the devil be within and that temptation without, I know he will choose it. I'll do anything, Nerissa, ere I'll be married to a sponge.
You need not fear, lady, the having of any of these lords. They have acquainted me with their determinations, which is indeed to return to their home and trouble you with no more suit, unless you may be won by some other sort than your father's impositions, depending on the caskets.
If I live to be as old as Sibyl, I will die as chaste as Diana, unless I be obtained by the manner of my father's will. I am glad this parcel of wooers are so reasonable, for there is not one among them but I dote on his very absence, and I pray God grant them a fair departure.
Do you not remember, lady, in your father's time, a Venetian, a scholar, and a soldier that came hither in company of Marquis on Montferrat?
Yes, it was Bassanio, as I think he was so called.
True, madam. He of all the men ever my foolish eyes looked upon was one best deserving of the fair lady.
I remember him well, and I remember him worthy of thy praise.
Thanks, Dia and Zai. Our next piece is from Romeo and Juliet, being performed by Anne Susan George and Tia Tadani.
We will be performing Act 2, Scene 5 from Romeo and Juliet by William Shakespeare. So far in the play, the two have fallen madly in love but can't be together because their parents are mortal enemies. In this scene, the nurse comes back with news about Romeo that Juliet is anxiously waiting for.
The clock struck 9 when I did send the nurse. Within half an hour, she promised to return. Perchance she cannot meet him? That's not so. Oh, she is lame. Love's herald should be thoughts, which 10 times faster glide in the sun's beams, driving back shadows o'er luring hills. Therefore, do nimble pinion doves draw love, and therefore hast thou wings swift Cupid wings. Now is the sun upon the hindmost hill of this day's journey, and from 9 till 12 is 3 long hours. Yet she's not come. Had she affections and warm youthful blood, she'd be as swift in motion as a ball. My words would bandy her to my sweet love, and his to me. But old folks, many fain as they were dead, unwieldy, slow, heavy, and pale as lead. Oh God, she comes. Oh, honey nurse, what news? Has thou met with him? Send thy man away.
He does stay at the gate.
Now, good sweet nurse. Oh Lord, why lookest thou sad? Thou news be sad. Yet, tell them merrily. Change the music of souls by playing it to me with so sour a face.
Oh, I am a-weary. Give me leave a while. Fie, how my bones ache. What a dance have I had.
I would thou hast my bones deny thy news. Nay, come, I pray thee, speak, good nurse, speak.
Jesus, what haste! Can you not stay a while? Do you not see that I am out of breath?
How art thou out of breath when thou hast the breath to say to me that thou art out of breath? The excuse that thou dost make in this delay is longer than the tale that thou dost excuse. Tell me this, is thy news good or bad? Say either and I'll state the circumstance. Let me be satisfied. Is it good or bad?
Well, you have made a simple choice. You know not how to choose a man. Romeo, no, not he, though his face be better than any man's, yet his leg excels all men's, and for a hand and a foot and a body, though they be not talked upon, how fast compare. He is not the flower of courtesy, but I'll warrant him gentle as a lamb. Go thy ways, wench, serve God. What? Have you dined at home?
No, but all of this did I know before. What says he of our marriage? What of that?
Lord, how my head aches. It beats as would fall to 20 pieces. Oh, my back at the other side. Oh, my back, my back. Beshrew your heart for sending me about to catch my death with jaunting up and down.
In faith, I'm sorry that thou art not well. Sweet, sweet, sweet nurse, tell me, what says my love?
Your love says, like an honest gentleman, a courteous, a kind, and I warrant, a virtuous. Where is your mother?
Where is my mother? Why, she's within, where should she be? How oddly thou replies. Your love says, like an honest gentleman, where is your mother?
Oh, God's lady dear, are you so hot? Marry, come up, I trow. Is this the poultice for my aching bones? Henceforward, do your masters yourself.
Here's such a coil. Come, what says Romeo?
Have you got leave to go to shift today?
I have.
Then hie you hence to Friar Lawrence's cell. There stays a husband to make you a wife. Now comes the wanton blood up in your cheeks. They'll be scarlet straight at any news. Hie you to church, and I must another way, to fetch a ladder by which your love must climb a nest, bird's nest soon when it is dark. I am the drudge and toil in your delight. But you shall bear the burden soon at night. Go, I'll to dinner. Hie you to the cell.
High to high fortune, honest nurse, farewell.
Thank you, Tia and Anne. Our next extract is from Julius Caesar, the well-known speeches by Brutus and Antony, played by Rohan Manoj and Tarasha Dugal.
Hello and good evening. Today, Tarasha and I will be enacting parts of the third act of Julius Caesar, which was written by William Shakespeare. Today, I will be playing the role of Brutus and she will be playing the role of Mark Antony. This scene has two main parts. The first part is when Brutus is trying to persuade the crowd and tell the crowd that he had to kill Julius Caesar for a reason. And the second half is where Mark Antony attempts to sway the crowd against Brutus with his speech defending Caesar.
We will be satisfied. Let us be satisfied.
Then follow me and give me audience, friends. Cassius, go into the other street and part the numbers. Those that will hear me speak, let him stay here. Those that will follow Cassius, go with him. And public reasons shall be rendered of Caesar's death.
I will hear Brutus speak.
I will hear Cassius and compare their reasons when severally we hear them rendered.
The noble Brutus is ascended. Silence.
Be patient till the last, Romans, countrymen, and lovers. Hear me for my cause, and be silent, for you may hear. Believe me for mine honor, and have respect for mine honor, that you may believe. Censure me in your wisdom, and awake your senses, that you may the better judge. If there be any in this assembly, any dear friend of Caesar's, to him I say that Brutus's love to Caesar was no less than his. If then that friend demand why Brutus rose against Caesar, this is my answer. Not that I loved Caesar less, but that I loved Rome more. Had you rather Caesar were living and die all slaves, than that Caesar were dead to live all free men? As Caesar loved me, I weep for him. As he was fortunate, I rejoice at it. As he was valiant, I honor him. But as he was ambitious, I slew him. There is tears for his love, joy for his fortune, honor for his valor, and death for his ambition. Who is here so base that would be a bondsman? If any, speak for him have I offended. Who is here so rude that would not be a Roman? If any, speak for him have I offended. Who is here so vile that will not love his country? If any, speak for him have I offended. I pause for a reply.
None, Brutus, none.
None.
Then none have I offended. I have done no more to Caesar than you shall do to Brutus. The question of his death is enrolled in the Capitol. His glory not extenuated, wherein he was worthy, nor his offences enforced, for which he suffered death. Here comes his body, mourned by Mark Antony, who, though he had no role in his death, shall receive the benefit of his dying, a place in the Commonwealth, as which of you shall not. With this I depart, that as I slew my best lover for the good of Rome, I have the same dagger for myself, when it shall please the country to need my death.
Live, Brutus, live, live.
Live.
Bring him with triumph home unto his house.
Give him a statue with his ancestors.
Let him be Caesar.
Caesar's better parts shall be crowned in Brutus.
We'll bring him to his house with shouts and clamors.
My countrymen,
Peace, silence, Brutus speaks.
Peace ho, peace ho.
good countrymen, let me depart alone, and for my sake, stay here with Antony. Do grace to Caesar's corpse, and grace his speech, tending to Caesar's glories, which Mark Antony, by our permissions, is allowed to make. I do entreat you, not a man depart, stay by alone, till Antony had spoke.
Stay ho, and let us hear Mark Antony. Let him go up into the public chair. We'll hear him. Noble Antony, go up.
For Brutus' sake, I am beholding to you.
What does he say of Brutus?
He says for Brutus's sake he finds himself beholding to us all.
To best he speak no harm of Brutus here.
This Caesar was a tyrant, nay, that's certain. We are blessed that Rome is rid of him.
Peace! Let us hear what Antony can say.
You gentle Romans.
Peace, oh,
let us hear him.
Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. I come to bury Caesar, not to praise him. The evil that men do lives after them. The good is oft interred with their bones. So let it be with Caesar. The noble Brutus hath told you Caesar was ambitious. If it were so, it was a grievous fault, and grievously had Caesar answered it. Here, under leave of Brutus and the rest, for Brutus is an honorable man. So are they all honorable men. Come I to speak in Caesar's funeral. He was my friend, faithful and just to me. But Brutus says he was ambitious, and Brutus is an honorable man. He had brought many captives home to Rome, whose ransoms did the general coffers fill. Did this in Caesar seem ambitious? When the poor have cried, Caesar hath wept. Ambition should be made of sterner stuff. Yet Brutus says he was ambitious, and Brutus is an honorable man. You all did see that on the Lupercal I thrice presented him a kingly crown, which he did thrice refuse. Was this ambition? Yet Brutus says he was ambitious, and Brutus, as we know, is an honorable man. I speak not to disprove what Brutus spoke, but here I am to speak what I do know. You all did love him once, not without cause. What cause withholds you then to mourn for him? Oh, judgment, thou art fled to Brutus beast, and men have lost their reason. Bear with me. My heart is in the coffin there with Caesar, and I must pause till it come back to me.
Methinks there is much reason in his sayings.
If thou consider rightly of the matter, Caesar has had great wrong.
I fear there will a worse come in his place.
Mark ye his words, he would not take the crown. Therefore 'tis certain he was not ambitious.
If it be found so, some will dare abide it.
Poor soul, his eyes are red as fire with weeping.
There's not a nobler man in Rome than Antony.
Now mark him, he begins again to speak.
But yesterday, the word of Caesar might have stood against the world. Now lies he there, and none so poor to do him reverence. Oh, masters, if I were disposed to stir your hearts and minds to mutiny and rage, I should do Brutus wrong and Cassius wrong, who you all know are honorable men. I will not do them wrong. I rather choose to wrong the dead, to wrong myself and you, than I will wrong such honorable men. But here is a parchment with the seal of Caesar. I found it in his closet. 'Tis his will. Let but the commons hear this testament, which, pardon me, I do not mean to read. And he would go and kiss Caesar's wounds and dip their napkins in his sacred blood. You beg a hair of him from memory, and dying, mention it within their wills, bequeathing it as a rich legacy unto their issue.
We'll hear the will. Read it, Mark Antony.
The will. We will hear Caesar's will.
Have patience, gentle friends. I must not read it. It is not meet you know how Caesar loved you. You are not wood, you are not stones, but men. And being men, bearing the will of Caesar, it will inflame you, it will make you mad. 'Tis good you know not that you are his heirs. For if you should, oh, what would come of it?
Read the will, we'll hear it, Antony. You shall read us the will, Caesar's will.
Will you be patient? Will you stay a while? I have overshot myself to tell you of it. I fear I wrong the honorable men whose daggers have stabbed Caesar. I do fear it.
They were traitors, honorable men.
The will, the testament.
They were villains, murderers. The will, read the will.
You will compel me then to read the will? Then make a ring about the corpse of Caesar, and let me show you him that made the will. Shall I descend, and will you give me leave?
Come down, descend.
You shall have leave.
A ring, stand round.
Stand from the hearse, stand from the body.
Room for Antony, most noble Antony.
Nay, press not so upon me, stand far off.
Stand
Stand
back,
back,
broom,
broom,
bear
bear
back.
back.
If you have tears, prepare to shed them now. You all know this mantle. I remember the first time Caesar put it on. It was on a summer evening in his tent, the day he overcame the novel. Look, in this place ran Cassius's dagger through. See what a rent the envious Casca made. Through this well-beloved Brutus stabbed. And as he plucked his cursed steel away, mark how the blood of Caesar followed it, is rushing out of the doors to be resolved if Brutus so unkindly knocked or no. For Brutus, as you know, was Caesar's angel. Judge, oh you gods, how dearly Caesar loved him. This was the most unkindest cut of all. For when the noble Caesar saw him stabbed, ingratitude more strong than traitor's arms quite vanquished him, then burst his mighty heart. For now you weep, and I perceive you feel the dint of pity. These are gracious drops. Kind souls, what weep you when, but behold, our Caesar's vesture wounded. Look!
Oh, piteous spectacle!
Oh, noble Caesar!
Oh, woeful day!
Oh, traitors, villains!
Oh, most bloody sight!
We will be revenged!
Revenge!
Revenge!
About, seek, burn! Fire,
Fire, kill, slay!
Let not a
Let
traitor
not a traitor live!
Peace there, hear the noble Antony.
We'll hear him, we'll follow him, we'll die with him!
Tarasha, we can't hear you. Can you just put your mic in clearly and do that bit again? From We'll Die With Him. From Caesar's vesture wounded. Yeah, just plug it in tightly. No, we can't hear you. Into the computer. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, Adam, take it from We'll Die With Him.
We'll follow him, we'll die with him.
Good friends, sweet friends, let me not stir you up to such sudden floods of mutiny. They that have done this deed are honorable. What private griefs they have, alas, I know not that made them do it. They are wise and honorable, and will no doubt, with reason, answer you. I come not, friends, to steal away your heart. I am no orator as Brutus is, but as you know me all, a plain, blunt man that loved my friend, and that they know full well that gave me public leave to speak of him. I tell you that which you yourselves do know. Show you sweet Caesar's wounds, poor dumb mouths, and bid them speak for me. But were I Brutus, and Brutus Antony, there were an Antony would ruffle up your spirits and put a tongue in every wound of Caesar that should move the stones of Rome to rise in mutiny.
We'll mutiny! We'll burn the house of Brutus. Away then! Come, seek the conspirators.
Yet hear me, countrymen, yet hear me speak.
Peace,
Peace
ho!
ho! Here, Antony, most noble Antony.
My friends, you go to do you know not what. Wherein had Caesar thus deserved your love? Alas, you know not. I must tell you then, you have forgot the will that I told you.
Most true.
Most true.
The will. Let us stay and hear the will.
Here is the will, and under Caesar's seal, to every Roman citizen he gives, to every several man, 75 drachmas.
Most noble Caesar, we'll revenge his death.
Oh, royal Caesar!
Hear me with patience. Hear with the Caesar when comes such another.
Never, never! Come away, away! We'll burn his body in the holy place. And with the brands, fire the traitors' houses. Take up the body.
Go fetch fire.
Pluck down benches.
Pluck down forms, windows, anything.
Now let it work. Mischief thou art afoot. Take thou what cause thou wilt. Pardon me, thou bleeding piece of earth, that I am meek and gentle with these butchers. Thou art the ruins of the noblest man that ever lived in the tide of times. Woe to the hand that shed this costly blood over thy wounds. Now I do prophecy. A curse shall light upon the limbs of men. Domestic fury and fierce civil strife shall come on all parts of Italy. All pity choked with custom of fair deeds. And Caesar's spirit, raging for revenge with Arte by his side come hot from hell, shall in these confines with the monarch's voice cry havoc and let slip the dogs of war.
Our next piece is by Arya Sarvanan from William Shakespeare's Macbeth.
I will be performing one of Lady Macbeth's soliloquies from Shakespeare's Macbeth. So far in the play, 3 witches have prophesied that Macbeth would be king, and he writes a letter to his wife about it. Lady Macbeth is reading this letter and schemes to kill the existing king. They met me in the day of success, and I have learned from the perfectest report that they have more in them than mortal knowledge. When I burned in desire to question them further, they made themselves air, into which they vanished. Whilst I stood wrapped in the wonder of it, came missives from the king, who all hailed me, Thane of Cawdor, by which title, before these weird sisters saluted me, and referred me to the coming on of time with, Hail, king that shall be! This have I thought good to deliver thee, my dearest partner of greatness, that thou mightst not lose the juice of rejoicing by being ignorant of what greatness is promised thee. Lay to thy heart, and farewell. Damned thou art, and Cawdor, and shalt be what thou art promised. Yet do I fear thy nature. It is too full of the milk of human kindness to catch the nearest way. Thou wouldst be great, art not without ambition, but without the illness should attend it. What thou wouldst highly, that wouldst thou holily, wouldst not play false, and yet would strongly win. Thou wouldst have great lambs, that which cries, thus thou must do, if thou have it, and that which rather thou dost fear to do, than wishes should be undone. Hie thee hither, that I may pour my spirits in thine ear, and chastise with the valor of my tongue all that impedes thee from the golden round, that which fate and metaphysical aid doth seem to have thee crowned withal. What is your tidings?
The king comes here tonight.
Thou art mad to say. Is not thy master with him, who art so would have informed for preparation?
So please you, it is true. Athene is coming. One of my fellows had the speed of him, who almost dead for breath, had scarcely more than would make up his message.
Give him tending. He brings great news. The raven himself is hopes the fatal entrance of Duncan under my battlements. Come, you spirits that tend on mortal thoughts. Unsex me here and fill me from the crown to top full of direst cruelty. Make thick my blood. Stop up the access and passage to the moors, that no compunctious visitings of nature shake my fell purpose, or keep peace between the effect and it. Come to my women's breasts and take my milk for gall, you murdering ministers, wherever in your sightless substances you wait on nature's mischief. Come, thick night, and fall thee in the dullest smoke of hell, that my keen knife see not the wound it makes, nor heaven be for the blinded of dark to cry, hold, hold. Great lambs, worthy Cawdor, greater than both by the all hail hereafter. Thy letters have transported me beyond this ignorant present, and I feel now the future in the instant.
My dearest love, Duncan comes here tonight.
And when goes hence?
Tomorrow, as he purposes.
Oh, never shall sun that morrow see. Your face, my Thane, is as a book, where men may read strange matters. To beguile time, look like the time, bear welcome in the eye. Your hand, your tongue, look like the innocent flower, but be the serpent under it. He that's coming must be provided for, and you shall put this night's great business into my dispatch, which shall to all our nights and days to come give solely sovereign sway and masterdom.
We will speak further.
Only look up clear. To alter favor ever is to fear. Leave all the rest to me.
Thank you, Arya. We will now have another extract from The Merchant of Venice, the famous courtroom scene being enacted by Sibi Aravindan and Rahel Manoh.
Good evening, everyone. Today we'll be presenting an extract from the Shakespearean play, The Merchant of Venice. This is the pivotal scene where the Jewish moneylender Shylock claims a pound of flesh from his adversary Antonio, the Christian merchant. But cunning Portia, in the disguise of a male lawyer, has something up her sleeve to help save Antonio. What judgment shall I dread doing no wrong? You among you, many have purchased a slave, which like your asses and dogs and mules use an abject and enslavish parts? Because you bought them. Shall I say to you, let them be free, marry them to your heirs, why sweat their underburdens? Let their beds be as soft as yours, and their palates be seasoned with such viands. You will answer, the slaves are ours. And so do I answer you. The pound of flesh which I demand of him is dearly brought. This is mine and I will have it. If you deny me, fire upon your law. There is no force in the decrees of Venice. I stand for judgment. Answer, shall I have it?
I'm informed thoroughly of the cause. Which is the merchant here and which the Jew? Is your name Shylock?
Shylock is my name.
Of a strange nature is the suit you follow. Yet, in such rule, that the Venetian law cannot impugn you as you do proceed. You stand within his danger, do you not? You confess the bond? Then must the Jew be merciful?
On what compulsion must I? Tell me that.
The quality of mercy is not strained. It droppeth as the gentle rain from heaven upon the place beneath. It is twice blessed. It blesseth him that gives and him that takes. 'Tis mightiest in the mightiest. It becomes the throned monarch better than his crown. His scepter shows a force of temporal power, the attribute to awe and majesty, wherein that's the dread and fear of kings. But mercy is above the sceptered sway. It is enthroned in the hearts of kings. It is an attribute to God himself. And earthly power doth then show like his gods when mercy seasons justice. Therefore, Jew, though justice be thy plea, consider this, that in the course of justice, none of us should see salvation. We all do pray for mercy, and that same prayer doth teach us all to render the deeds of mercy. I have spoke thus much to mitigate the justice of thy plea, which if thou follow, the strict court of Venice must needs give sentence against the merchant there.
My deeds upon my head. I crave the law, the penalty, and the forfeit of my bond.
Is he not able to discharge the money? There is no power in Venice can alter a decree established. It will be recorded for a precedent, and many an error by the same example will rush into state. It cannot be.
Daniel will come to judgment. Here, Daniel. Oh, wise young judge, how I do honor thee.
I pray you, let me look upon the bond.
Here, this most reverend doctor. Here it is.
Shylock, there's thrice thy